WWE makes a major bash and Berlin botch on Raw, the best and worst of WWE Raw. A former champ asks Triple H to either use him or release him. Liv Morgan on Dominik Mysterio after Rhea Ripley drama. Damian Priest pays tribute to Psycho Sid. Bianca Belair earns a feature on Prince of Bel-Air. Cody Rhodes addresses a possible betrayal at WWE Bash in Berlin. Pearce and doctors left very concerned after an injured. Bo Dallas aka Uncle Howdy spotted very emotional after Raw. Let's dive right in. The best and worst of WWE Raw. The go-home episode of WWE Raw before Bash in Berlin is in the books, with the red brand going strong into this Saturday's show. However, there is a lot more than just what is happening at the premium live event. Many stars who were not on the card had their moments on WWE Raw. This includes names such as Bronson Reed, the Latino World Order, and most notably, Uncle Howdy. However, how good was his in-ring debut? Let's find that out, and so much more. Here are the biggest positives and negatives from tonight's episode of WWE Raw. Number 1. Best. Bronson is on a roll. The past few weeks have seen the rise of Bronson Reed. He injured Seth Rollins and R-Truth before defeating The Miz in a no disqualification match. It seemed like Reed met his match with Braun Strowman on WWE Raw this week, but that is not quite how things played out. While their match ended without a winner, Strowman and Reed's backstage brawl turned ugly. The Australian star eventually ended up on top, as he hit a tsunami onto his opponent on the roof of a car. Taking out the monster among men like that has given Bronson Reed an instant boost. He is an even bigger star now, with his attacks quickly becoming one of the best parts of WWE Raw every week. It remains to be seen what is next for Braun Strowman after getting crushed. A stipulation match seems likely, which is a great sign after what we saw. Number 2. Worst. The LWO is back, but it is the same old. It has been a few weeks since we have seen them, but Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee make WWE Raw a better place. The duo returned in the opening segment of the show, as the Latino World Order confronted the Judgment Day. Mysterio, in particular, had an issue with his son's behavior. What a shocker. On one hand, the two factions work well against each other. However, we have seen it way too often now, with Dominik Mysterio already pinning his deadbeat dad. Liv Morgan helped him repeat the feat in an 8-man tag team match. It is not known if this issue will be furthered. The one saving grace would be Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee, potentially going after the World Tag Team Championship. Finn Balor and JD McDonough are yet to defend their belts since winning them over 2 months ago, so it is about time. Number 3. Best. A successful go-home WWE Raw before Bash in Berlin 2024. The final build to WWE Raw's biggest matches in Berlin was a huge success. Rhea Ripley and Damian Priest intimidated the Judgment Day after their aforementioned win over the Latino World Order. It did not take too much away from the main members, as JD McDonough and Carlito took most of the beating. Meanwhile, Randy Orton cut a heartfelt promo about his career ahead of his match against Gunther. The ring general was not present on Raw, but that gave the Viper enough time to say his piece. However, the best part of the final build came in CM Punk and Drew McIntyre's segment. The best in the world attacked his rival with a leather strap before the two had to be separated by security guards. Punk proceeded to beat them up as McIntyre escaped through the crowd. WWE Raw truly boosted our excitement for Bash in Berlin. Number 4. Worst. All that build for nothing? The Miz has been delivering some great promos lately. From his heartfelt speech before facing Bronson Reed last week to talking about the Intercontinental Championship, the A-lister has had a solid return to form. That is why he should have advanced in the tournament on WWE Raw. Pete Dunne getting a push is always a positive, but tonight seemed like The Miz's time. The Bruiserweight won a triple threat match that also featured Xavier Woods, with the 8-time Intercontinental Champion getting pinned. Hopefully, something good is around the corner for The Miz, as it would be a waste if he did not do anything off the back of the past few weeks. Could he turn heel following his recent frustrations? It is certainly possible. Number 5. Best. Uncle Howdy pulls it off. There was a large amount of pressure on Bo Dallas, who donned his mask to make his in-ring debut on WWE Raw. Just over a year after Bray Wyatt's tragic passing, Uncle Howdy wrestled for the first time. Fortunately, things went as smoothly as possible. All of the pre-match concerns were washed away, with Chad Gable looking pretty good against Howdy. This was not a one-sided beatdown in any way, with the former Olympian getting quite a lot of offense in. The hokey shenanigans were kept to a minimum as well. The rest of the Wyatt Six attacked the Creed brothers after they got involved, leading to a fun brawl in the crowd. This led to the ending, which saw Uncle Howdy finish Chad Gable off with Sister Abigail. Littered with subtle tributes to his late brother, Bo Dallas did a great job in his first match back in the main event of WWE Raw. Bray Wyatt must have been smiling from above. He remains dearly missed by people to this day. A former champ asks Triple H to either use him or release him. Former WWE head writer Vince Russo feels Karrion Cross needs to speak with Triple H about his booking. The The star has consistently lost matches on Raw over the last couple of weeks. Cross turned his attention to the Intercontinental Championship this week as he competed in a #1 contender tournament. However, Cross lost to main event Jey Uso as he took the Spear Splash combination for the pin in the triple threat match that also involved Kofi Kingston. This week on Sportskeeda Wrestling's Legion of Raw, Russo urged the star to air his grievances. He felt Cross should give Triple H an ultimatum to either put him in a prominent position or let him go. The former writer felt that the Harbinger of Doom could fetch a commanding salary in other promotions as well. Opening up his mouth, he's got to. He's got to say, "Listen, man, either use me or release me." I mean, seriously. We talked before about who was protecting that brand. Who do we talk about? You gotta protect your brand because they're beating the dude to death now. He means zero. I don't want to say it's not doing him any good. I'm sure he's getting a hefty paycheck, but he can get a hefty paycheck elsewhere. Triple H was booking NXT when Cross was the champion in the promotion and had a dominating run. Liv Morgan on Dominik Mysterio after Rhea Ripley drama. Liv Morgan has reacted to Dominik Mysterio's message after this week's WWE Raw. The Judgment Day was featured in the opening segment of this week's show before being interrupted by the Latino World Order. This led to an 8-man tag team match between the factions with the heels coming out on top. Post-match, the Judgment Day set their sights on Rey Mysterio, who was about to be put through the announcer's table courtesy of a splash from his son. However, Rhea Ripley and Damian Priest's interference led to another brawl, as Morgan came to Mysterio's aid and helped him escape. On Twitter X, Mysterio sent a romantic message to Morgan, which caught the WWE Women's World Champion's attention. Ahead of the Bash in Berlin Premium Live event, Liv Morgan sent a bold message by claiming that she plans on shutting up Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley. Speaking in an interview with TMZ Sports, the reigning WWE Women's World Champion stated she was embarrassed for the Terror Twins. She said, "Yes, Daddy Dom and I have a match against Rhea and Damian Priest at Bash in Berlin, where we're finally gonna just shut them up and hopefully, end this, because I'm kind of embarrassed for them at this point." After capturing the Women's World Championship at the King and Queen of the Ring Premium Live event, Morgan successfully defended the title on a handful of occasions. Her latest title defense was against Rhea Ripley at the SummerSlam Premium Live event. At Bash in Berlin, Morgan will aim for another victory over Ripley as she prepares to team up with Dominik Mysterio in a mixed tag team match. Damian Priest pays tribute to Psycho Sid. Damian Priest has paid tribute to Sid Eudy, also known as Psycho Sid, after he tragically passed away at the age of 63 on August 26, 2024. Eudy's son Gunnar announced his father's passing away due to cancer on his Facebook page. Fans, wrestlers, and many renowned names in the pro wrestling world have reacted to the unfortunate news. On X, Priest shared a message honoring the late Eudy and quoted the former 2-time WWF champion. "Masters and rulers of the world, our Psycho Sid," wrote Priest. On Monday Night Raw, Priest and Rhea Ripley confronted the Judgment Day. The Terror Twins ambushed Dominik Mysterio before Liv Morgan came to his rescue, as the Judgment Day duo narrowly escaped with Finn Balor. At the SummerSlam Premium Live event, Ripley was betrayed by Dominik Mysterio, and Finn Balor betrayed Priest. Speaking on the Wrestling Matt podcast, Matt Camp stated that the babyfaces needed to be removed to gain sympathy from the WWE Universe. "We saw the new version of Judgment Day with Rhea and Priest at their feet. They got a lot on that group for 2 weeks, but it can't be like that all the time, especially when the numbers aren't in their favor. Are Priest and Rhea more powerful than them? Absolutely, of course they are. But babyfaces need to have some sympathy. They got to fight an uphill battle sometimes. They need to be able to get that revenge for the heels to get their comeuppance. You gotta book that heat sometimes. That works," he said. At Bash in Berlin, Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley will face the duo of Dominik and Morgan in a mixed tag team match. The Terror Twins will aim to avenge their SummerSlam losses and betrayals. Bianca Belair earns a feature on Prince of Bel-Air. WWE superstar Bianca Belair is all set to fight for the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship at Bash in Berlin. However, before she enters the Uber Arena alongside Jade Cargill to take on the Unholy Union, she recently earned a special feature in a popular TV series. The EST of WWE is all set to appear in an upcoming episode of Bel-Air, a TV series on the Peacock network. The show follows the story of a street-smart teenager moving into the Bel-Air suburb of Los Angeles. The third season of the series will premiere on August 15th, 2024. Bianca Belair took to X to react to a tweet sharing news about her appearance on the show. In the video, she talked about how people know her as the first black woman to headline WrestleMania, but she had her hard times, and overcoming them made her who she is today. Belair x Belair, Belair Peacock, she wrote. Belair is currently charged with momentum, especially after her recent win on SmackDown, along with Jade Cargill and Naomi against the Unholy Union and Blair Davenport. Jade Cargill recently appeared in an interview with Casual Conversations with the Classic, where she talked about her experience with Bianca Belair. Despite being a seasoned superstar, Cargill noted that she learned a lot of good pro wrestling virtues from the EST. I've learned from Bianca how to coexist. We're both usually on a solo run, so I've been able to be selfless. She's been able to be selfless. And just working with one another and listening for one another and what they want and their desires in the match. That's one thing I've learned is patience, and she's learned patience as well because we're so used to doing our own thing, said Jade Cargill. The Storm also noted that Naomi is her pillar in the SmackDown locker room. She remarked that the Glow doesn't hesitate to aid her with both professional and personal matters. She also noted that she stays with her until 3 a.m. on some nights to guide her about something. With a well-knit bond between these three wrestlers, it would be interesting to see if Alba Fire and Isla Dawn can successfully defend their titles. Cody Rhodes addresses a possible betrayal at WWE Bash in Berlin. Cody Rhodes has a tough test ahead of him at Bash in Berlin, and it could turn into a disaster if he's not careful. However, the American Nightmare is pretty confident that won't happen. WWE has been planting tiny seeds of tension between Rhodes and Kevin Owens ahead of their match in Berlin. Many expect the challenger to return to his old ways and betray Cody, much like he did to the likes of Sami Zayn, Chris Jericho, and others. Austin Theory and Grayson Waller pushed the issue quite a bit on the latest episode of SmackDown. Despite that, Cody Rhodes has remained adamant that his friendship with KO will remain because they are more than just on-camera allies. The undisputed WWE champion sent a clear message as he walked to the back after SmackDown went off the air, with the company's official Instagram handle posting a reel of it. Everyone who watches all this wrestling thinks they know how to call it. This is my friend, my actual friend, not just an on-camera friend, an off-camera friend. We get to wrestle in Berlin. Those who haven't seen the German fans are like, you're gonna be blown away by Bash in Berlin. Kevin Owens is the man. He saved me, said Cody Rhodes. It remains to be seen if Kevin Owens will betray Cody Rhodes at Bash in Berlin. Either way, the two will likely have a competitive match for the undisputed WWE Championship, 8 years after KO's only world title win in the company. Adam Pearce and doctors left very concerned after an injured. A WWE superstar was left severely injured on the latest edition of Raw, with the match being forced to stop and Adam Pearce rushing to the scene. Things went so bad that all proceedings were brought to a halt. On Raw, things went out of control fast when Braun Strowman and Bronson Reed faced each other. Reed tried to walk away from the match, but Strowman followed him with both stars heading to the parking lot where they began to brawl. Strowman had the advantage most of the time, but the moment he was not looking, Reed hit him across the head with a rod. That took him off balance, and they were on containers. The monster of all monsters fell on the roof of a car. Reed then followed by hitting a tsunami off the top of the containers on top of Strowman, leading to the car's glass exploding everywhere. Things were brought to a halt immediately with Adam Pearce rushing to the scene with doctors. He was not going to be stopped and started to talk about what was wrong. The doctors and Pearce were looking after Strowman when the monster among men shouted repeatedly that he could not feel his fingers. A very worried Adam Pearce and doctors present on the scene called for more assistance, rushing medical assistance to him. Bo Dallas, aka Uncle Howdy, seemed very emotional after Raw. Bo Dallas, your Uncle Howdy, picked up his first win on Raw tonight and his first singles win in over 6 years. He was visibly emotional after his match in a touching moment after Raw went off the air. There are many emotions tied to Uncle Howdy, Bo Dallas, and the Wyatt Six. Considering how it all revolves around the late great Bray Wyatt, every huge moment comes with that heavy weight of, I wish he was here, in regards to Bray. He certainly is there in spirit, and the Wyatt Six have done an incredible job of keeping that alive. After Uncle Howdy defeated Chad Gable in the main event, he paid tribute to his brother and was visibly emotional after the show went off the air. Even after the debut of the Wyatt Six, when they competed in a 6-man tag team match, Eric Rowan, Joe Gacy, and Dexter Lumis, the show went off the air with the group embracing each other. They have a special union, and fans seem to recognize its authenticity. There also seems to be a lot of respect for Bo Dallas, a kind of respect he previously didn't enjoy. Perhaps this will be the end of the American-made versus Wyatt Six feud. It will be interesting to see how things pan out in the coming weeks. WWE makes a major bash in Berlin botch on Raw. Tensions are running high ahead of WWE Bash in Berlin this weekend, and it seems that some major mistakes are managing to make their way through onto programming. This week on Raw, the company was promoting Bash in Berlin when they noted that the show would take place on Friday when it actually airs on Saturday evening. Michael Cole was then forced to point out that this was the wrong day, as it appears that WWE was trying to promote the kickoff show on Friday, which was listed as Saturday. Instead, it is Countdown to Bash in Berlin that will take place ahead of the show on Saturday evening, with the kickoff event on Friday night. This is the format that the company has been following for their premium live events for several months, but whoever made the graphics for the show this week wasn't given the right information. Luckily, Michael Cole noticed the botch and was able to ensure that the wrestling fans knew that the show was a day later to avoid any further confusion. The graphic was also quickly taken off screen as Damage Keytrell made their way to the ring for their match against Pure Fusion Collective.